Deb and Beck here with our How Do I Thrive video series.
Yeah, welcome back. And just before we dive in again today, we just wanted to remind you that on the 6th of April, we're starting with Relationship School. So anything in these videos that's kind of jumping out at you, we'll be diving more into some of this kind of content through the 8 weeks of Relationship School. And we'd love to have you with us. So do go to our website and have a look, daretobeyou.co.uk.
Okay, so today's question, how do I thrive with health issues?
Yeah, so that's a great question, isn't it? And I think as human beings, it's probably rare that we're going to get through our lives without some kind of whether it's a common cold all the way up to the kind of more serious physical conditions we can have. And for me, I love this question actually, because physical stuff has been one of my things in my life. Often if I have struggled with something, almost inevitably I end up with some kind of physical condition, headaches and migraines. I often get colds if I've been a little bit down. So I can kind of really connect with this question. And the thing that I've really started to notice and look at a lot more in the last few years around this conversation is how much of that kind of health issue is actually me, in my mind, adding the kind of suffering to it. My body does what it does, and my body's actually incredibly clever at knowing what it needs to do, knowing what it needs to heal, how it needs to heal. And even if I've got kind of an underlying condition, my body still knows how to deal with that and how to manage it. And yet what I'm really good at is adding all this suffering and discomfort on top of that. And I notice that the more I focus on something, the more I get of that experience. The way that we work as human beings, what we think about and what we kind of concentrate on is the experience or the feeling that we get. And I can really see, for me, just a simple example. I had a little bit of a headache earlier, and I was in the middle of doing something and I could kind of feel it across my forehead. And I kind of noticed for a minute that I was like, oh, I'm going to have a bit of a low afternoon. I'm not going to get a lot done because I'm feeling this headache. And then I kind of had a little bit of a word with myself. Actually, I don't need to go into that story. My body will know if it needs to rest and I'll follow that. But equally, I don't have to go into that story and live in a headache that actually is only just starting to appear. And as we started this video, because it was health issues, I noticed, where's my headache, guys? It's just got, there's nothing there. There's nothing of it at the moment. And for me, that is, massively what's happening here. And that's not to say that, that headache might have continued and I might have had to kind of make a decision as to whether I wanted to rest, take some medication. There's all sorts of things we can do in those moments. But I just noticed that I didn't want to play into the story of a headache and an afternoon feeling ill. And I just watched it kind of disappear. And for me, that's what the health issues is all about. Thriving with health issues is about knowing that a huge amount of what happens for us, the suffering that happens for us, is the part where we get into it in our minds, where we get lost in the story of, I suffer, I'm in pain, it shouldn't be like this. And the more of those stories we have, and the more that we, interact with them and engage with them, it's like engaging with a 2-year-old toddler having a tantrum. It just makes it bigger and worse.
So one of the things that I noticed around health issues was when I came across this understanding, it wasn't anything, health issues didn't seem like a big thing for me. I was struggling to sort myself out after getting out of a very, very unhealthy relationship. And I had so much going on in my life. I was trying to learn to parent. I was trying to work out how you did all sorts of things in life that I just, pay bills, live on your own, where all these things were going on. And I came across this understanding, and I just noticed one day how I was way more healthy. I didn't, I used to have headaches. I had a headache for about 3 or 4 years that it kind of was at degrees of how bad it was. I had days when I couldn't function and days when it was just a background headache, but it felt like, I was allergic to all sorts of things. I would often have, unexplained aches and pains. My leg would hurt, my back would hurt, and there wouldn't be, or it wouldn't seem like there was a reason for this, but I would just be in a lot of pain a lot of the time. And as I said, that wasn't really, I had so much going on, so much to deal with around my relationship, that was just something that I kind of just lived with. That was just the way it was for me. And so it really surprised me as I got into this understanding and started to see things and started to have insights, how much more healthy my body became. You know, it is rare that I have a headache these days. It is rare, you know, I'm not poorly very much. We have such a lot of fun. I'm laughing all the time, and I don't suffer a lot physically these days. But it is really interesting because sometimes, you know, I've noticed other people, when we come to this understanding because we want to solve something that we see as a problem, it feels like that particular problem persists. You know, it can feel like, oh, you know, health issue is a huge thing for me, and maybe if I understand the principles, maybe if I know myself better, my health issue will disappear. And it feels like very often that is the thing that doesn't happen, that doesn't disappear. And, you know, name whatever it is, your thing there. But so for me, the invitation here, you know, is if you struggle with health issues, is to get to know yourself better, but maybe not from the perspective that you're going to make your health issue disappear. Just be open and curious about what might happen around it, because I think as our minds open to anything, it is amazing what can come in. And it might be that your health issue disappears, and in that way that you will thrive. It might be that you will see something that you've never seen before around your health issue and realise that you are perfectly okay no matter what your health is doing. And if you sometimes have to rest or sometimes can't do things, that's all right in a way that it was maybe never all right before. I don't know, but it just feels like there is so much available to us. And the thing that happens to us is we get into a place of truly, truly believing that my life shouldn't be like this, and then add whatever it is that you don't want. And it feels the more fixed we are on that, the more we argue and fight with whatever it is we don't want in our life, the more we bring it into our life. And the more caught up we are in our heads, the more unhealthy thinking we have, the more unhealthy our body is in all sorts, in an array of ways. But again, in this video, I kind of want to stress this isn't about blame. If you start to go into the headspace of, oh yeah, that's me, I'm rubbish, I do that, stop. Because that's not helpful, and that's not what we're pointing towards. You know, fall in love with you and fall in love with your body right as it is right now in this moment, you know? Like, I kind of, there'd be plenty of things about my body and my health that I could be like, oh, you know, I wish I was slimmer, I wish I was taller, I wish I didn't, you know, I wish this wasn't like that. And it's like, nah, just sack all that off and just fall in love with who you are, health issues and all, right now. And you will be incredibly surprised at what could come from there.
Yeah, the thing I was hearing in that was acceptance, and that's very much something we point to a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so like we kind of talked about at the beginning, we'll be doing some stuff on this kind of topic and these similar topics in our relationship school, and we'd absolutely love to have you as a part of that. If you're interested, you can go to our website daretobeyou.co.uk to find out a bit more.
And if you want to connect with us in other ways, there's plenty of places you can find us. We have a Facebook group, Dare to Be You, with the purple heart at the end, and you can find all sorts of things out about us on our website, daretobeyou.co.uk, and we have our YouTube channel, Dare to Be You, and you can sign up to our mailing list on our website.
So thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.